What's up, you guys? My name is Preston James here at the Laughing Buddha Recording Studio here in Los Angeles, California. Thank you so much for tuning back in. If this is your first video, thank you for joining. I appreciate the love and support. I truly and really do. So thank you. This time on our album record review, we are doing something a little different. Obviously, if you clicked on it, you already know what it is. But usually I do rap, hip hop, pop, done some jazz, but this time we're venturing off into metal. My first love. It was metal, then rap, and so I thought I'd pay a little homage to this, especially because this album is fucking ridiculously awesome. Love it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Architects. All right, you guys, so this album, The Sky, the Earth, and All Between. Man, what a great album. What a great album. I'm gonna give this album an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Just right off the jump, right off the bat, just going with it, running with it. 8 out of 10 for sure. I'm still listening to it consistently, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it 8 out of 10. I love this album. I think it's good in all regards. The singing, the guitar work, definitely the drum work, the sound overall, the feel, the vibiness, the punch, the up and downness, the clarity, the grit, the growl, the structure, the texture of it. It's all good. Even the levels, it's all balanced and sounds smooth, but yet punchy and gritty at the same time. So there's a lot of, you know what? I'm going to push it. And give this album a 9 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I am. I'm changing it from an 8 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. That's my final answer. That's it. Final answer. 9 out of 10. This album is so good. You guys, the Architects are a British band or an English band and have been around since 2006. With their first album, Nightmares, that came out. That I have not been privileged to listen to yet. I haven't listened to it yet. Because I came in, the first time I heard of them was around Lost Forever / Lost Together in 2014. That's the first time I heard of this band. And I forget where or how they came up, but I definitely listened to that album and a couple of the ones after, but kind of lost track, right? Every time they came out with something that I knew about, I would listen to and kind of feel out, but nothing really grabbed my attention as much as that record did, the first one that I had heard. So why I didn't go back, I'm not sure, but I always have checked them out. I've always appreciated them and respected them as a band and their work. I was sad to hear that Tom Searle, I think that's how you say his last name, Searle, which I'm put right here, passed away from cancer, very young age. I think he was 28, I believe. Please don't quote me on that, but he was very young. And he started the band with his brother, I believe, what's his name? Dan Searle, who's the drummer of the band. So I was sad to hear that, which happened in 2016. So it was sad to hear that. But everything they've done since then, they've released 4 albums, I believe, since then. Holy Hell in 2018, For Those That Wish to Exist in 2021. And then their newest one, this one, which is The Sky, the Earth, and All Between. But they are a consistent band. Like I said, 2006, they've been consistent, putting out albums every couple of years and touring. So they've made their life doing this and sticking with this band. They've gone through a few members, I think 2 singers, if not more. But the band was started, like I said, in 2006 by the brothers, Dan Searle, and Tom Searle. And now consists of Alex Ali Dean on bass, Adam Christensen on guitar, Sam Carter on vocals, and Dan Searle on the drums. They are a very tight-knit band. If you're not much into metal, this is a great metal band to listen to. They have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? They have a lot of dynamics, and they have a lot of range. They're not just a one punch band. They have a lot of heavy stuff, but they have a lot of poppy, solo-y, and very detailed sound that I truly think is versatile and can be listened to a lot of people who like all different types of music. So if you're interested in listening to a metal band that sounds really good, that has a really good kind of sing-along, but like a bouncy feel to it, please check these dudes out. Like I said, started in 2006. They are on the record label Epitaph Records, which is an independent label, but it was started by Bad Religion guitarist Brett Gurewitz, and which is also the other half or linked up with the brother or sister label, which is Hellcat Records, ran by the previous lead singer of Rancid, Tim Armstrong. So you got those 90s punk metal bands that have come together to form an amazing record label, which has they've had numerous artists on there, and some are still on there. But some of these artists that have been on there before previously or who are still on there are Day to Remember, which their new album's coming out. I'm really looking forward to that. Definitely going to do a review of that because their album is sounding nice. The last one, I could only find one, maybe two good songs on that previous album. But this new one sounds really good. I think it's called Big Ol' Album, Volume 1. Anyways, A Day to Remember, Drain. And if you haven't listened to Drain, please listen to Drain. They are in my top 10 favorite bands. I love that band so much. I'm so excited for what they have to come next. But they've been touring. They're working really hard. But check out Drain. If you've never heard of Drain, please listen to Drain. Drain is your friend. Drain, Converge, pay homage to Converge. Bad Religion, Pennywise, Sleep Theory, Bring Me the Horizon, Motion City Soundtrack, Thrice, Every Time I Die. And those are just some of the bands that have been on or are currently on the record label. And I listen to all those bands. Every Time I Die is one of my favorite bands as well. Definitely in my top 20, but waiting for some stuff from them too. They haven't come out with albums since 2021. But metal for me is at the core. I love metal, so that is, and rap. Rap and metal are like my two loves in music, why I got into music, why I do what I do now. And so when I hear a really good metal album or a rap/hip hop album, or even like a rock album and alternative, right? You start mixing them together, all these subgenres. But once I hear a really good album in any of those genres that I kind of grew up on and kind of came into music, lost my virginity to, right? So to speak. But it brings me right back to that age of, I think I was 10 when I went and saw my first concert. So maybe 9 years old. And that same feeling hasn't left. I still have that same feeling when I listen to some of these albums. And I got that with this album. That's my point, is this album by Architects gave me that feeling again. And I can't stop listening to it, bobbing my head, really feeling the music and the instrumentation and even the vocals. It grabs me, grabs my soul. It's the reason I got into music. So like I said, a 9 out of 10. So there's definitely a reason I've given it that rating. But I should also say the album was released on February 28th, 2025. So just about 3 weeks ago, maybe a little less than 3 weeks ago. And the numbers are doing good from what I hear. One of the coolest things about this album is that Jordan Fish produced it and did a lot of the songwriting, if not helped with all the songwriting. And if you don't know who Jordan Fish is, please look him up. He is the past member of Bring Me the Horizon. He was like the DJ, songwriter. He did some mixing and recording as well. He's a multi-talented artist. He is amazing. And once I heard that and knew that he was part of this, I could feel a lot of the Bring Me the Horizon material, and that feel, I could hear that in this album. I knew that there was something that I was familiar with, and that was it. Once I knew he did it, I was like, that's what it is. That's another reason why, and this isn't a negative thing. This isn't a negative thing to say, but this is another reason why I believe this album is as good as it is. Because that guy he just has the ear. He has the fine tuning and the skill to bring the music to life and bring that feeling out of the instrumentation and all of the sound, He has that ability. And so kudos to him, but Jordan Fish. But I also I don't know. I didn't listen to the last few albums because I couldn't really get into them. I couldn't get into them as much. Like I said, I'd hear them and it just kind of went like this since 2014 when I first heard of them. Never went back and listened to the previous albums. Like I said, they've been around since 2006. But once I heard this, I was instantly locked in, as the key word or the current vibey word is. I was instantly locked in. So yeah, Jordan Fish did his thing on this for sure. So Sam Carter, the lead singer, Sam Carter came after Matt Johnson in 2007, 2008. And Dan Cyril, the founder, like I said, with his brother, these two did most of the writing on this album with Jordan Fish. So these three people did all of the composition for this album. That's another thing that is very consistent, right? I've always talked about that in my videos of being consistent, having the same writers, engineers, and producers throughout the album and artists as well, right? If you have different people that come in, but just having that consistency from top to bottom, from the beginning, from the jump, from the get-go, when you have that vision and you see that vision through, it makes a difference. And that solidity, that solidarity, that cohesiveness that comes with that it's unmatched with other albums. I've heard numerous albums, and I'm sure you have. You just haven't realized it. Probably thought something was off with the album, was off with the whole feel of a song or album. But that's that inconsistency. That's what I believe. I can't necessarily prove that. I mean, I guess I could. It would take a long time to do, but it's definitely the better way to get the most out of the artist. Out of the sound and out of the work as a whole. It's the best way, in my professional and personal opinion, to get the best album and records that you can from a group or even from a person, is you're consistent with the writing, the producing, and the engineering and the artistry or instrumentation. That is the best way to get a cohesive, nice, not perfect, I don't want to say perfect, but a very nice piece of work. Now, in previous albums, like I said, these three were or are the main songwriters for this album, but previously, everybody contributes to the making of the record, and I mean songwriting-wise. They all have contributed. I went back and looked at a couple other albums, and it seems to be that everyone was listed as a composer or songwriter for those albums. So I like that as well. I think that's another reason why the band has lasted so long. Obviously, just like Jordan Fish leaving Bring Me the Horizon, things don't last forever and people leave bands, but the consistency of the band and the longevity of the group as a whole has been, I think, because of things. I think that bands last and groups last because of things like that, of just having this equal partnership, right? I know that the lead singer, it's a little different, but overall, just having that camaraderie between one another creates that consistency and longevity. But yes, so they did most of the writing. The band as a whole has done a lot of the writing in the past, so it's a little something different. Not that that was worse or better, but this album is amazing. So whatever they did on this, including having Jordan Fish, is working. It's working. Dan Cyril, the drummer, also contributes to a lot of the production. Like I said, he is the founding member, so he's going to have a lot more to do with the record. So he definitely has a push in the production, songwriting, and overall vision and sound of the record or album as a whole. So Dan Cyril, and next would be Sam Carter. Sam Carter, the lead singer, who obviously has to perform the vocals. Again, if you don't know who Jordan Fish is, check him out. He left Bring Me the Horizon in 2023. He's worked with different bands like Spirit Box, Arcade Fire, Poppy, Asking Alexandria, obviously Architects, and many other bands. But I think that his journey is just beginning with the industry and that realm, or that path of the industry. So yeah, keep an ear out. He definitely has a very distinct sound. Like I said, I could definitely hear something different on this album. Once I knew it was him, I sync that up. Listen to some Bring Me the Horizon, listen to some Architects, or at least this album, you can definitely hear the parallels with it. So getting to the nitty gritty, the stuff that I like, my people, one-on-one, the mixing engineer, Zach Cervini. Zach Cervini did the mixing and the mastering for this album, as well as the previous album, which was For Those That Wish to Exist. So I'm definitely gonna go back and check that out. I really like what he did. Like I said this at the beginning, this album has a lot of clarity, consistency, punch, dynamics, smoothness. It's very smooth but heavy and punchy at the same time, and that's not easy to do. The drums are crystal clear, they smack, the guitars have that big beefy chug to them, as well as the bass and the vocals, which cut right through the mix. The vocals just cut right through and sit right in the pocket, exactly where it sounds like they're supposed to be sitting, right? When you hear a really good album that's been mixed, mastered, and just even produced and written, back to the songwriting and recording, that it just all feels like that's how it's naturally supposed to sound. And that's also the feeling I got throughout the whole record. Every single song and sound that I heard sounded like it was meant to be in that position or be in that spot of the song. So that, again, is not always easy to do. So another reason why I've given this a 9 out of 10, that it gives me that feeling that I told you about, that brings me that kind of nostalgic feeling of when I was 9 years old and why I fell in love with music. But it also has all these extra elements and layers to it that pull the listener in and give you something to really grab and bite onto, sink your teeth into. And that's, again, it's not easy to do. So I really appreciate that. And Zach Cervini, being the mixing and mastering engineer, has a lot to do with that. A big chunk of why those feelings and that sound that I just described, why that's even possible, why that happens. Of course, the strong songwriting and production, right? Of course. But at the end, those final details that bringing everything together, that is the mixing and mastering engineer. Period. End of story. And last but not least, the recording engineer. The recording engineer is Julian Julio. His name is right here. I do not know how to pronounce it. I couldn't find too much on him. I don't know all the bands that he's worked with, but he definitely did a great job. It definitely starts with the recording engineer. So if you record something decently to very well, right? If it's decently recorded to very well recorded, it's going to be a big difference, and it makes a big difference, especially on the back end for mixing and mastering. It starts with the recording. Again, songwriting to the production, then the recording. But if you don't capture the sound you're looking for, then it's really hard for the mixing engineer to really do what he does best and bring those sounds to life. It just takes longer. You have to sample drums and get all these extra elements in there to make it sound the way that the producer or the band wants it to sound. But if you have a really good recording engineer, which they definitely did, Julian Gargulo, sorry, man, again, I apologize for messing up names if I can't pronounce them correctly, but he did a great job, and it sounds like he recorded these guitars, drums, and bass perfectly, and as well as vocals, of course. But so shout out to Julian. Overall, again, this album is a 9 out of 10. I really highly suggest listening to this album, especially if you haven't listened to a lot of metal. Check it out. You have nothing to lose, right? Nothing to lose. You're going to gain some experience in the metal realm. You're going to hear some good vibes, have some, I don't know, altering mind-bending opinions about music. I have no idea, but please check it out. Give them some love. Give them a shout out. But welcome to the metal world. No, I'm just kidding. But hopefully you get a chance to listen to it. As always, this was kind of a short one today, but I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you so much from the Laughing Buddha Recording Studio. My name is Preston James, and you know what we like to say. Do what you got to do to get to where you want to be so you can do what you want to do. Again, do what you got to do to get to where you want to be so you can do what you want to do. Love you guys. Release your music. Release your content. The world is waiting for you to release your music and your content. Be kind to one another. Be safe. Support one another. Uplift one another. Don't bring other people down. Life is short. You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. I'm also doing a podcast on fear and self-doubt. Please check that out. It will be released in the next couple days as well. But that is The Reflection on all podcast streaming platforms. Again, It's called The Reflection. But you need to release your content, release your music. You have nothing to lose. Please, the world is a better place because you are in it. You make the world a better place. Please, we value you. We value your content. Okay? Thank you guys so much. Love you, and I'll talk to you next time.